Hi, welcome back to another video. And today I'll be talking about Donald Trump's approval rating that is surging right now. Now, I know that may come off as sounding biased as in support of Donald Trump, but it is not. It is, a fact. There are data and numbers to support this, and that's what's going on right now. I'm just reporting the numbers. So yeah, as you can see from this Newsweek article, Donald Trump's favorability rating, however, I do call him the approval rating. That's what they call them for most presidents. Right now, it's a favorability rating for Donald Trump for Americans, and right now, Americans are starting to approve of Donald Trump, mainly because I do believe that they're kind of sick of the Biden administration, but mostly just sick of the high prices and everything they voted for. You know, they wanted to get rid of the high prices and everything with that. So they elected once again Donald Trump as president again for the first time in 8 years, and yeah, so Donald Trump will be president in a month's time now. And as you can see from this Newsweek article, Donald Trump's favorability rating is positive for the first time ever, which isn't exactly true. And I know I can come off, sounding biased like that, but I'm not. And I can prove this actually. So I have this is Donald Trump's approval rating when he was president the first time, right? He leaves office with a 57% disapproval rating and a 38% approval rating on, January 20th, 2021. And then Joe Biden took office, and now we're going to see the reverse. But if we, go back in time here and look at the beginning of his presidency, you can actually see that in the first couple, actually in the first week here of Donald Trump's presidency in 2017, he actually did have a positive and approval rating. His approval rating was up by plus 4 points. He had a 45 approval rating and a 41 disapproval rating. Now that quickly shrunk, and the disapprove took over, reaching over 50%. For the rest of his term. Now, Donald Trump was never able to get a 50% or more approval rating during the rest of his presidency. As you can see, he stuck around, in the late 30s and the early 40s here. And it really never went nowhere except right here. It almost sunk and it almost rose for the disapprove rating and the approve rating. But other than that, his approval really never saw any comeback here, and it really, it collapsed towards the end, the final weeks towards the end of his presidency. Having to do with COVID-19, the whole election stealing thing, and January 6th on top of it. And I think at the time in 2021, early 2021, voters were really sick of him, and that's why they voted in Joe Biden. And now we're seeing the reverse of that. Voters are sick of Joe Biden. They're sick of the old weak guy. Which that does make me come off bias against Joe Biden. But I'm just trying to be realistic here about how Americans are feeling. So yeah, obviously at the end of 2020, the voters were sick of Donald Trump, just like in the end of this year, voters were really sick of the Biden administration. So it's gonna be interesting on how Donald Trump comes in office like this. But Donald Trump left office originally with a 57, almost 58% disapproval rating. Now, if you compare that to Joe Biden, oh, I don't think I have Joe Biden up here. Oh no, actually, yeah, I do. Let me pull him up real quick. So here we go. Americans approve, disapprove Joe Biden. I believe. Okay, so yeah, this is Joe Biden as president right now. This is his approval rating as president. As you can see, it is bad, very bad. 19% or 19 points up for the disapproval rating. His disapproval rating at 56%. His approve at 37%. Now, this is interesting because Joe Biden's disapproval rating is lower than Donald Trump's when Trump left office, but yet his approval rate. Oh my goodness, sorry. Approval rating is lower than Donald Trump's when Donald Trump originally left office. You see, Joe Biden right now with a 56.4 disapproval rating and an approve of 37.4. Very, very bad for the president. And, it does show that, Americans did not want to reelect him, and I don't think he'd win if he stayed on the ticket and wasn't forced off. But if we go here at the beginning, obviously Joe Biden was, really loved by Americans for the beginning here. Really proved, however, that did, begin to fall with many things, including inflation, the Afghanistan pullout, and just several other things that just really destroyed his approval. And like Donald Trump, his approval rating unfortunately for Joe Biden, was never able to make a comeback. I mean, there was a little boost here, but I believe, if I remember correctly, that might have been the State of the Union address, or something that to do with Ukraine, or something like that. But still, Joe Biden's approval rating really never bounced back, and it doesn't look like it's going to anytime soon. And obviously, all this polling with Joe Biden and his approval rating will end on January 20th, as it did for Donald Trump in January of 2021. And then we'll get our first polls of the Donald Trump approval rating as president. But right now, we're looking at his favorability rating, and it's looking good for Donald Trump right now. It is, well, okay. Now I could actually here. Let me pull up Donald Trump's approval rating. For Let me go back here. So yeah, Donald Trump's looking at great numbers right now. He's still unpopular on 538. However, on RealClearPolitics, as you can see here, these are favorability ratings from political leaders. I think they have Joe Biden on here somewhere. Oh yeah, Joe Biden right here. Oh my goodness. So they have Biden a little lower for his disapproval. They have him at -13. 538 has him at -19. So we have Harvard Harris -12, Yahoo News -10, Morning Consult -13, YouGov -19, and their spread at RealClearPolitics is -13.5. Obviously, not good for President Joe Biden, and he's going to leave, office very, very unpopular. And so we have some other ones. Here's Donald Trump, who actually has a positive favorability rating, +2 on the RealClearPolitics average. So on Harvard Harris, they have him up 1. Reuters actually has him down 7, which I'm actually surprised about. But, it's Donald Trump, very controversial figure, so I'm also not surprised. Yahoo News has him at a tie. Rasmussen has him at +7. I forgot to mention Emerson has him at +8. Rasmussen, I'm not surprised. Rasmussen is very Republican biased. So, Morning Consult, another good poll, +3. YouGov, +2. And so RealClearPolitics is giving Donald Trump an average of a +2 favorability rating. So I wouldn't say, I disagree with the Newsweek article that says Donald Trump's, favorability ratings are up for the first time ever, which, isn't true. They were up towards the beginning, the first, I believe, couple weeks of his presidency here. Here, let me see. So obviously, let's see how many days until the, disapproval took over. So that's about... that looks about to be about 2 weeks. It was about 2 weeks until Donald Trump became an unpopular president, and obviously, he was never able to come back from that. And neither was Joe Biden. But Joe Biden was popular for much longer than Donald Trump. However, that doesn't really matter because they both became unpopular, and now Joe Biden is at such a low approval rating leaving office here. Even though he is retiring from politics completely. Maybe one of his kids could run for politics in the future. I'm sure that's a dream, wet dream the Democrats would love to have. But yeah, you really do have on RealClearPolitics Donald Trump, having a positive approval rating for the second time, really the first time actually in 7 years. So it'll be very interesting to see if Donald Trump is able to keep this approval rating as president, or if it will completely collapse like it did in 2017. We also have Kamala Harris. During her time, most of her time as vice president, she's actually been very unpopular. Although when she ran for, president, back in the summer, her approval rating soared. But now that she has lost the election, and she will leave office as vice president and probably seek something else in the future for politics. She's very unpopular right now. Very, very unpopular with the public. Well, not Joe Biden unpopular. But RealClearPolitics giving her a -4 favorability rating as the spread. You have Harvard Harris at -2, Yahoo News -4, Morning Consult -1, YouGov -9, and so the RealClearPolitics spread is -4. So obviously not good for Kamala Harris, and it does look bad. It does look bad as Kamala Harris, ran this campaign that was based on unity and a coalition, and, was endorsed by Democrats and Republicans, but still lost by such large margins. And she is not liked at all right now. Obviously, there's definitely some Democrats turning on her and, saying what a disaster her campaign must have been. Obviously, Republicans have never liked her, not even from the start. and independents seem to not like her either, as they voted for Donald Trump. We also have some other ones, the Congress leaders like House Speaker Mike Johnson here, who obviously is not liked at all. Oh my goodness. -9 disapproval rating for the spread on RealClearPolitics. You have the Atlas Intel, A plus pollster, by the way, -20. You have Harvard Harris, -1. Economics YouGov, -6. And, the RealClearPolitics average is -9. So obviously not good for Mike Johnson, but still. My prediction for Mike Johnson, really, I don't really think approval and disapproval ratings matter for Congress leaders like Mike Johnson or even Hakeem Jeffries down here, because, like I said, my prediction for Mike Johnson will be that he will probably, Republicans will probably lose the House in 2026, but hang on to the Senate. So, but still, we are far off from that, and we still have a long way to go. Anyway, now getting down to the minority leader of the House, Hakeem Jeffries, a Democratic leader. RealClearPolitics average gives him a disapproval rating of over 1%. So he is a -1%. He is sort of not liked. He's certainly not popular. He's a little, unpopular, but he could always certainly come back from this. Now, these polls are not really, up to date with Hakeem Jeffries on RealClearPolitics. So maybe if they make more of those, we'd be able to really see. But, it's Hakeem Jeffries. I doubt most of the country even knows his name. You have to be just, you just have to be politically involved to just know, yeah, Hakeem Jeffries is leader of the House Democrats. But, so, Gallup has that a tie. CNN has him at -4, but YouGov has him up by 1 point. So, RealClearPolitics average, giving him a spread of -1 points. So, he is an unpopular leader. Now we move on to Chuck Schumer, who has been in the game way longer than Hakeem Jeffries has. Chuck Schumer, currently the majority leader, about to be the minority leader when in January. He has been the Senate Democrat leader for a while now. I believe it's been like 7 years. He is very unpopular. So yeah, he is obviously not loved, and we also we have all these polls. All these polls here have him being unpopular. So Chuck Schumer, I'm not surprised to see unpopular. He's been around for a while. He's very old. And I did not expect to see an approval rating that positive for him. Now moving on to probably the most controversial, maybe possibly more controversial than Donald Trump, Mitch McConnell, who is as old as time itself. Mitch McConnell, obviously this is very predictable. Mitch McConnell having a spread disapproval rating of over 37 points. I doubt any other politician could possibly beat this, except for maybe Liz Truss in the UK. But you have Mitch McConnell at a -37 disapproval rating. Then obviously Mitch McConnell is not loved by either side, not the Democrats, not the Republicans, and not the Independents. You have CNN giving him -46, Harvard Harris -24, YouGov -43, and the RealClearPolitics average is -37. So obviously Mitch McConnell not loved at all here. So yeah, those are the approval and disapproval ratings for those Congress leaders. But I thought most importantly was Donald Trump here, who now has a spread of +2 points. So, yeah, very interesting to see. Very interesting for this all to be happening here. And it's going to be interesting once Donald Trump is inaugurated as the 47th president of the United States to see if his approval or disapproval ratings get better or worse. And yeah, it's going to be very interesting to watch. So, here, I got some of these more polls up here. So look at that. Look at that. Trump's favorable and unfavorable. His favorable is up by 2 points. Obviously, it's what I talked. But look at this. He has been incredibly unpopular for most of this. This goes back to 2015. July 6, 2015, when he first ran for the presidency, and he beat Hillary Clinton. Look at this. He was incredibly unpopular. Of course, my laptop is lagging here, unfortunately, so you guys are going to have to bear with me here. But, yeah, very unpopular. Obviously, he became more popular once he won the presidency, but still was a very unpopular president. Whether you liked him or not, he was an unpopular president, just as Joe Biden is right now. But, yeah, Donald Trump, an unpopular president, just unable to really get any popular ratings here from the American people, and it really, shows why he lost in 2020 so badly to Joe Biden. But now that he's been kind of out of the spotlight, the political spotlight, for over 4 years now, and he kind of entered a little early into the game, but mostly the eyes were on Joe Biden and the Biden administration, and the high prices, the inflation. Even though inflation went down in these past couple years, people were not feeling it, and they voted against the Biden administration, even though Harris was the nominee and Donald Trump was put back into the White House because he promised to fix everything. So we'll see if that happens. We'll see. But you can see from here that Donald Trump, for the first time ever, has a positive approval rating here. Look at that. Ever since we entered December here, he's been popular. So it's going to be interesting to watch, and I can't wait for to see these approval rating polls come out for Donald Trump when he's president. I was excited when Joe Biden was president because I knew there was going to be I knew he was going to have a honeymoon period, and Joe Biden's honeymoon period did last for 8 months, so it's going to be interesting if Donald Trump has a honeymoon period, which I believe he will. I believe he will have these couple months of positive approval ratings, and if they go down, it's completely predictable. You know, it's expected with each president. Every president has had, you know, an approval rating period where they are just either at their lowest or their highest. You know, for example, I believe Richard Nixon had a good approval rating until Watergate hit, right? And his approval rating sunk. So, but obviously, this is not Richard Nixon we are dealing with. This is Donald Trump. It's going to be very interesting for when Donald Trump is elected president. We get these approval rating polls, you know, to see if Americans are loving what he's doing or if they don't, and if it's like last time and they want to get rid of him. So, yeah. But yeah, we're going to see what happens with this. But anyways, thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, please like and subscribe. And follow me on Blue Sky at Vote Breakdown. And I will see you guys in the next video. Bye.